Let me ask you this: how did you go? Because like you made this massive transition from partying with Little John and Stretch Hummers to like so clearly and like I don't know. So it's not like you're just on some like yeah, you just gotta wake up and grind. Like you
No,
have
no.
a very clear, very detailed, step by step level of understanding about success and fulfilledness and happiness and all that stuff. How? Because I know that you kind of hit this like rock bottom moment, this
Yeah.
bankruptcy. But like, did you start to go on a path of self improvement and you know?
That may be the best question anyone's ever asked me because
Like
they haven't hit that. It's a great question. So everything's evolutionary, right? I didn't just wake up in the morning with all these great philosophies. So what I did is I did, outline
Yeah.
who I was, the acronite.
Yeah.
And strong, right? That's probably more than tanzanite or quartz, right? Acronite.
Yeah, yeah,
And strong, gratitude, empathy, like all this. But then I started learning, right? I went on this huge thing, like everything from how was I going to maintain money? So I studied Vanderbilt and Rockefeller, and I learned about the family bank and how to create a family bank to maintain wealth. Then I also went out and I worked with Empowered Wealth with Leigh Brower, who ended up to be in the movie The Secret. And then I met all the people from The Secret, right? And I learned that side of it. Then really interesting thing happened to me before I went bankrupt, in between the enlightenment, the quantum shift that I had, and this last piece, was I was flying to India, and there's a medical doctor next to me, and she looked at me, and she said, "Are you okay?" And it's still at that time, although I was on my journey, right? You don't just become an instant, humanitarian, right? I was still an asshole.
Yeah.
I was just living in a different
Asshole
code.
in transition.
In transition, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna coin that from you. Dave Meltzer, asshole in transition. I'm still transitioning if you ask my wife. She's much more enlightened than me, but I was really transitioning. And this lady says, "Are you okay?" I said, in my head, "Do you know who the fuck I am?"
Yeah.
"Of course I'm okay," I said. She said, "Oh," she goes, "you're so full of light, but you're blocking it." Now, at that time, I rolled my eyes because I'm like, I'm gonna get it like my wife again, right? This whole deal, the woo-woo, I called it the woo-woo stuff, right? I make stuff happen, I'm still on that drive. I haven't lost that drive. Like, I'm in control.
Yeah.
But I'm in control, but I live with gratitude. Just like when I was young. Live with gratitude, empathy, accountability, and effective communication, but I was in control. Then she says to me, "Do I meditate?" And I looked at her straight out and said, "Oh my God, no."
Yeah.
I come from nothing. I come from Akron, Ohio. You probably don't even know where it's from. And I'm a multi-millionaire. I made it all myself. I have a Ferrari, a Porsche. I made it all myself. No one's given me one thing. I made it happen. I don't have time to meditate. My wife tells me all the time I need to calm down, meditate, find my peace and joy and center. And I tell her why, so I can sit at home high on my mom's couch and broke. Like all the spiritual people I knew are broke and sick. Like, what do I want? Like, I get my stuff done.
Yeah.
She looked at me, it was awesome. And she goes, "Oh, that's too bad, because if you let me teach you to meditate, I can teach you to vibrate faster." Like, I'm double. Like, what? Like, literally,
Wait.
I have to hear this now, right? Instead of like pretending to go to sleep, I was like, okay. I go, "Why would I want to vibrate faster?" And she said, "Because you could only be aware of that which vibrates equal to or less than you." And that kind of got my interest. I said, "Really?" She said, "Do you know the earth vibrates the slowest, then plants, animals, humans, then sound, then light, then thought?" She said, "Do you know what thought vibrates the fastest?" And I said, "No." She said, "The truth. The truth vibrates the fastest." I still get goosebumps. Something clicked in my mind, that pursuit of the truth, and that if I would live towards the truth, right? If I could vibrate faster, awareness was so important to me. Like, I always wondered how guys knew when to buy or sell. And I'm still in that mindset, right? The transitioning asshole. I'm like, awareness is good. I can know whether to buy or sell. It seems like a really positive thing. All this work, forget it. I know what horse to pick, what lottery numbers, awareness. And so something called me and said, "You got to learn how to meditate." So I stayed in India. I asked my wife if I could stay.
Full deal.
And I studied theta meditation, quantum healing, and that to me was a complete quantum shift in my life. I came home from India. When you talk about how do you get this clarity, it's evolved because I learned to meditate, increase my vibration through theta meditation, and become more aware of who I needed to surround myself with, what ideas and books I needed to read, how to live my life understanding value, and understanding. And I'm constantly now, you know this more than I, right? When you have a great podcast like this, people thank me all the time. I do speeches and this stuff, and like I did this Build Your Empire thing with Casey, and it was amazing because they were just thanking me. They're like, you made this whole weekend, this like all these great compliments, and all I can think about is I have just learned so much. Like I should be paying you guys. Thank you. Just like this, like I learned so much by interacting with people like you, and I'm just so humbled and grateful for it.